I'm back in Uluwatu today on the bukit, on the hill. And today I'm going to sort of explore just around the corner from the actual Uluwatu temple. There's a few beaches down there. I'm going to see if I can get to Nyang Nyang, see what happens. I'm going to explore the streets. I don't really know what's there. I've driven through it and it feels pretty good. First of all, I'm going to go and have some brekkie at this place. I came here last time, it's called Karma Free. And I really liked it. It's like a healthy, cafe. And I'm not into health food, but I really loved what I had last time. It's expensive, but I think the quality's there, so I'm gonna check it out. They call this place a bit of a surf shop as well. And they've got like a surf journal. It's all like modern style stuff, which I'm not really familiar with. A bit of jewelry around here. Pretty nice clothes. They're nice linens and so forth there. And it's their own brand. That's pretty cool. Someone set up a really nice business here. Women's clothing there as well. That's all the style, isn't it, around these parts? This sort of stuff. And you see the tones, all the colours, all that earthy tone stuff, which is the go as well. I'm not passing judgment, just saying. Okay, we've got a few things going on today. We've got a bit of a brownie here, which they just gave me to try because they reckon it's amazing. I also ordered some toast, and then I've got this beautiful coffee. Coffee here, I think, was 57,000. So it's like, yeah, one of the most expensive coffees I've ever had here in Bali. But last time I had it, I thought it was very good. So let's check it out this time, see if it matches that same level.
Mantap.
It's so good. That has just such a good flavour, that coffee. I don't know how they're doing that, because it's quite unique, the flavour, but most places just get their beans from some wholesaler and they all taste the same. But I don't know, this is just a really good coffee. I really love it. Let's give this brownie a go. I reckon it's one of those, I don't know, healthy ones. Well, they call it healthy, but it can't be too healthy if it's a brownie. Oh yeah, love that. Yeah, that's good. Wow, now that's a piece of toast. That's 118,000. So she's pretty expensive for what you get. But it looks good. That is a full meal. Like, I won't be able to eat all that. That's too much food for me, but let's give it a go. Get rid of those flowers. Let's have a look. I actually asked for the eggs to be like fully cooked. I know a lot of people like them to have runny eggs, but I don't. This one's got like, is that like a pumpkin bread or something like that, I think. So it's not even normal bread. With tahini and peas and stuff. That's good. They even put peas on this thing, which is different. The peas are actually really good for you, like high in protein. That is a good dish, really. Thought I'd take a different direction this time and just go inland a bit up one of these roads where there's all this construction. I just want to see what's actually up here. Is it still farmland? Is it all being built out? I just know, I was just coming past a guy there. He's taking a leak in the bushes. So all the workers live on site. They have to build their own accommodation usually, but I don't know where they go to the toilet, and I just found the answer, I guess, just then. I'm only like 50 metres, or 100 metres probably from the main road now, and it's pretty well still farmland. You've got the odd project up there, but yeah, more or less, there is heaps of spare land still here. It's always been fairly marginal land anyway, so, I mean, as farming land, there's never been worth much. So I guess for locals who have owned land up here and who were pretty poor, for them to be able to sell it off to get some rich foreigner to build a villa on it, it's probably life-changing. There's a lot of discussion in the Indonesian community about Balinese selling off their land to foreigners. Now, we know foreigners can't own land directly. They can own it through a holding company. But a more common sort of method is that the locals still own the land, but foreigners lease the land for 30 years. And there's a lot of people, especially the non-land holders, who really hate this thing going on. The landholders love it, because a poor old farmer that might be making $100 a month all of a sudden has all this money once he sells off half his land. And it's terrible for the culture and the way things used to be. This is a nice little alleyway that I'm going down here. But for that person's family, it is simply life-changing and lifts them out of poverty in a lot of ways. And that's where the friction lies, because how can you deny a poor person that unbelievable wealth and the ability to improve their lives so much? A lot of the counter arguments are, but is the person really that happy? Do they really want to become that modern? And that's not for me to decide, but the individuals, I guess. And landholders generally don't want to be poor. And that's why they sell their land. And the good thing about the Indonesian system is that because it's usually held by locals, the land must be held. Hey, hello. Because the land's held by locals, it encourages landowners not to sell, but rather to lease the land out long term. That's one of the things that happens quite often. And then the family gets to keep their traditional land, but also get a big whack of money so they can send their kids to school and university and lift themselves up in the world, which I really love. Okay, I've just cut across the back here. I think this might be the main road, is it? I don't know. As I was coming out of there, I just saw this sign. And this is a sign from the Desa Pecatu, the village of Pecatu, who have made this path paved. Yeah, they paved it. And you can even say that, you see that, paving izasi, the paving of this community road here. This is how much it cost, or the allocation of the money was 130 million rupiah. So it's quite a lot of money for that. I don't know why they do paving. Like, that's sort of happening at the moment on my road out the front of my house at the moment. They're repaving the road rather than putting asphalt down. And it's interesting how they do it as well. They put dirt down and then put pavers on top like you would in your garden, and that's it. And that's your new road. So I guess it can handle motorbikes, but when the rubbish truck comes down, you can see it really rip up the road. I guess when you do it that way, you don't have to put a road base down and build the road up. I think that's probably why they do it. Probably a bit easier. I'm not sure if it's cheaper. Because I mean, the road does get destroyed pretty quickly. The thing about this Bukit area is that it's berbukit. It's hilly, really hilly. So I'm going uphill now and it's steep. My thighs are burning, and within about 10 seconds, I'm gonna be out of breath. It is stunning to see these gardens with cows in them still though. I really love that. I mean, it is getting built out, and especially on top of the hill, people have built villas up there. But the rural feel is still here in this area of the Bukit. And I really love that. A lot different to around Padang and Bingin actually. Wow, that is steep. I'm still going uphill. I've just come into this forest, and the breeze just sort of wafted through, and it's really beautiful to hear that sound. But the thing that you can't avoid up here, which is really it's a real negative about it, to be honest, is all that construction that's going on is really hindering, is really impacting on how beautiful this place is for me. Not for everyone, of course, because this whole area is just so popular with people. But for me, all the construction that's going on, and it is in pockets around here, it's not everywhere, is just takes the edge off the beauty of the place for me. Here we go, another one of these signs. Paving is asi. The paving of this road, they allocated, there it is, 136, almost 137 million rupiah for that, to pave it. That's generally how they do it. They don't sort of cement them in or anything like that, so they do move around a bit as time goes on, and if one of them sort of comes loose or gets cracked, usually from that point on the road gets destroyed. My road actually got really, really bad towards the end there, where because you had a few broken pavers, what happened is they one by one got worse and worse and worse. I'm going to cross over here. they got worse and worse and worse, and so all the pavers started to disintegrate, but not into dust. They'd go into like blocks that size. So when you ride your motorbike over them, it becomes really sort of a bit dodgy. And it was just up, down, up, down. It's like the surface of the moon. Worse than an asphalt road or a gravel road, for sure. Now, when an asphalt road disintegrates, normally what happens, it turns into small pebbles. But these pavers, when they start to disintegrate, get really into blocks. Hello. This is a really good sign. It's basically a sign, peringatan. This is a reminder that the sale of dog meat and the poisoning of animals basically is illegal. Yeah. And this sign says, no airway. And airway is the sort of the slang for dog meat. And people still eat that meat, both here in Bali and other parts of Indonesia. The people in Bali that are eating it are generally people from certain parts of Indonesia, and they'll often do it for ceremonies or big days, big events, because it's not cheap to go and buy dog meat. So the main people who are eating dog meat are the people from Manado and the Batak people. I'm just going to go down here, see what's down this way. There are other people in Indonesia that obviously eat dog meat as well. I mean, it's just part of the culture over the years. Also, the people from Tanah Toraja will eat dog meat, and areas around there as well. Just the way it is. Apparently, it does make you feel hot inside when you eat it. I love dogs, so I don't really want to eat a dog. But I reckon I've probably eaten it before. Like, if you've been in Indonesia long enough, you've probably eaten it. And if you've been to weddings and so forth, where maybe your friends are from Manado and they have a wedding, you probably have dog meat there. I actually really struggle with that whole issue. You know, I'm one of these people who's really big on trying to adapt to local culture and not bringing my own Western influences in when I come to live in a place like Indonesia. And I can do that with a lot of things. And someone in the comments, I think it was Jan, in the comments said that she's not apathetic, but she tries to free her mind from some of these things that otherwise might get you upset. So she's not apathetic about it. And because in that video I said I'm apathetic, I can't be apathetic about dog meat. I'm not apathetic about that, honestly. But I'm also aware that bringing my own Western sort of influences on other people's cultures is wrong as well. So trying to find out how do you square that circle when on the one hand you don't want to impose your own Western values and ideals on a local, yet the locals are doing something that is so abhorrent to me. I don't know how to get that right in my mind. Something I do struggle with, actually, with some things. It's really difficult. The way that most of us deal with that is actually just to ignore it, is to try and pretend that it doesn't exist. But there are some people, some real warriors out there who are really big on changing the world. They'll set up an organisation, and some of the people who are supporters of those signs, they will set up an organisation to educate people and to explain why this might be a bad thing, and doing it respectfully and with cultural respect and acknowledgement. And that was one of the things on the last video, is that, and the past couple of videos I've been talking about this a little bit, is that if you want to change the world here and do that here in Indonesia, and you don't want to look like some white person that's coming in and trying to impose your values on local culture, you've got to go about it in a much more detailed and specific way than just coming here and shouting at people and saying you're doing the wrong thing, because you do really look a bit stupid and a bit idealistic. You've got to come in and do it. Well, you've got to set up a foundation, don't you? That's what people do. They set up a foundation, an educational foundation, and it's usually run by idealistic locals. And local management and running of those organisations is absolutely key, because at the end of the day, it's not your country. The counter argument is that the animals don't care about whose country it is. So I don't know. One of those things. I do not get involved in those things because I just think it's a hornet's nest, to be honest. And But I really do respect those people who are giving it a go. Still have little warungs open like that where you can go and get a little feed, cheap drinks and so forth. So that's nice to know. This is on the way down to Nyang Nyang. I've actually turned off down a little side road there, down to Nyang Nyang. I've never been down here before. Nyang Nyang is not a place I've ever been at all. So seeing some of this is all new to me. Of course, there's a lot of new construction going on. So I'm assuming this must be a road that a lot of people like to go down to because it's beautiful down here. Plots of land for lease over here. There's only a few left now. That's the story, isn't it? If you're a landholder and you don't want to release that land from your family history, you can just get a developer to come in and lease it out to foreigners. Locals lease land as well, and they'll do it for business purposes ordinarily. So you'll get some person with a lot of money who doesn't own land, but they want to sort of get in on the property boom. They might be from Jakarta or Surabaya or another place like that, and they'll come in and plonk a bunch of money in here and then develop it, and then obviously the resulting business that they build there will be then on sold or on leased to foreigners. Oh, that's a cool place. Matcha bar. I wouldn't mind having a look at that at some point. That looks really nice. Nice little sort of place. I don't know where I'm going to go. Oh, beach. I was going to say I don't know where to go. There's another sort of cafe over there as well, which looks nice. Go down this way. Perhatian. Pastikan rem motor Anda berfungsi dengan baik. Jalanan curam. Make sure your brakes work because this is a steep road. A few more little warung type spots. I'm guessing a lot of these warungs have been here for a long time because of the surfers that have always sort of come down to these sorts of parts. Sometimes I'm reading the Indonesian and going, okay, that's what it means. And underneath it, like that's the same sign there. And it says it in English underneath. I didn't even see that. Looks like cars aren't allowed down here anyway. They must have problems. And this looks like it's been cut out of the cliff, doesn't it? So this road down to the beach mustn't have been here forever. I reckon one of those, when I have to come back up, I reckon one of those cafes is going to be the place to stop after you've made this huge climb up here. This is really quite steep. Not too difficult in a car though. Like even in the rain, in a car with bald tyres, you'd easily get up here. It's not that big a deal. It is a long way down though. I'm a little bit concerned about that. That looks like about 100 metres down there. And that means I have to walk back up. We are at dead low tide right at the moment, so it's going to be interesting to see what it's like down there. Is it going to be all rocky and reefy down there, or what's it going to be like? I'm getting a slight view of it over here in the distance. It looks okay. It looks okay. Right up the coast, there's some great waves as well. But getting down there, I don't know what it's going to be like as just a swimming beach. I can't imagine at dead low tide you're going to have that good a swimming opportunity really, but we'll see. The other thing I'm wondering is, do I have to come back up the same way that I went down? Because it'd be nice to walk along the beach and come up somewhere else. Oh, now that's steep. That is steep, yeah. I reckon in a car that could be quite difficult. Definitely if it's raining and you've got bald tyres, you're going to have trouble coming up that. Even on a motorbike with two people on, like even with a PCX, that's probably too steep in my experience. Okay, I'm down here and it's beautiful. I actually think this is a really nice time to sort of slip down here because you've got all these pools here, these rock pools that are sort of like natural rock pools at low tide. I reckon that could be treacherous at high tide, like you'd be getting swept along the rocks. But at the moment, just a beautiful place to go for a dip, and there are a few people in there. And it looks stunning at this time of morning, doesn't it? Might go for a walk up there. I might ask a local first if there's a way up. Thing is, it's pretty quiet down here and there aren't any locals, and I'm not even sure where I'm going here. I'm not down on the beach. I'm on some sort of connecting path that goes to a property down here. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed into that. We'll soon find out. Seems that a lot of people do come along here for some sort of access somewhere. Beautiful part of the world, isn't it? The interesting thing is I can see these old walls and they're sort of terraced up the hillside, which is interesting. It means historically there's been people living down here and doing some sort of farming. Well, that's long gone, but I reckon that whole overgrown jungle must be terraced all the way up. Cool little beach bar here. It's called, I don't know, Welcome to Our Beach Bar. Really nice. I'm somehow on the wrong side of their fence though. So I've got to get down under that or jump down here. I just got to get under their fence and get out onto the beach. Okay, we are in business. Now the question is, do I take my shoes off and walk bare feet up the sand, or do I look like an idiot and go in shoes? Oh, I don't know. The thing is, I don't know how far I can go up and if I can get back up there from a different access point. I feel like I might be able to. What a beautiful beach. Like, really beautiful, beautiful. And very few people down here, to be honest. There's a couple of fishermen, like a couple. There's a few people sort of bathing in these rock pools. There's some areas here where the rock pools are a little bit sort of deeper and a bit bigger and a bit more substantial. They're in there. But that's it really. Not much else going on here. It's just so remote. Like, well, it's not remote, but it feels so remote. I think one of the things is that access road down there is pretty difficult to sort of walk along. You can't get cars down there. So it's people just on motorbikes that are coming down. I saw one guy going back up with his dog on the motorbike. Obviously comes down here daily just to walk his dog, which is a pretty cool idea because I reckon this is a great place to walk your dog. Wonder what it's like at high tide. I'm assuming at high tide, looking at how high the water is here, that the water might be sort of head height right where I am, and therefore you'll have a fairly narrow section of beach over there that you can sort of walk along, but it would be a great place to swim. And I can imagine the water would be crystal clear as well. High tide might be a great time to come down here, although I reckon you might need to be a little bit careful you don't get swept out as well, because it looks a little bit treacherous. But if you're a good swimmer, like, it should be okay, shouldn't it? But as always, try and avoid green coloured clothing when you go in, because the queen of the southern seas, Nyi Roro Kidul, might come and take you and drown you, which is what the local superstition says. I think it's a thing from Java, but sort of carries across here into Bali as well. That's an odd one. A thing called the Bali Bubble Hotel. How remote is that? I don't even know how you get to that. I wonder if they can bring you down here with a lift or something like that. Oh, there seems to be some sort of pulley system. So maybe your luggage gets brought down in a pulley and all their supplies get brought down in a pulley, but you might have to walk here, I reckon. Unless there's some stairs around here somewhere I can get back up with. That's what they look like, these little bubble things. I reckon they could get pretty hot, couldn't they? As soon as that sun gets on those, a bit like a greenhouse. Oh, that'd be pretty bad in Bali heat. Even an AC, I don't think it's going to cool that down, is it? Or maybe they can put curtains over it, but still. Sounds like a great idea, but then the practicality of it might be a little bit, how's your father, mightn't it? I'm seeing a surfer walking up this way, and I'm seeing a few other people, probably more people here than I saw down the other end, which is giving me some hope there's actually an access way back up the hill here somewhere. I'm not seeing it because it just looks like jungle, but this is such a long beach that you'd imagine at one end you'd have another access point, but we'll see. Okay, we're in business. A couple of ladies just told me that there are some stairs up here, so that's going to be my saviour because I don't want to have to go back up the other way. Is stairs going to be worse than that road coming up? Maybe, but at least it's a different way. This looks like the entrance just here, but it's pretty weird stairway. Why have they got those little pieces of bamboo at the bottom? That's not like blocking me off, is it? Or is that a step? That could just be a step. All right, we're going up. I wonder how many meters up it is. It looks well over 100. Well over 100 up. We'll soon find out. Okay, I'm not even sure this is the correct way, but there is a path of some sort. Doesn't look well used, but we'll keep going. All you Indo lovers, Indo language lovers, will be pleased to know this is a Jalan Kecil, a small road. And look at the steps here. The word for wave is ombak. There are other words, because I think gelombang is also a word that's used, but the word that you'll hear most is ombak. Ombak besar, big waves. Steps, stairs, tangga. And there's even a word which is ibu rumah tangga, which is a housewife. Rumah tangga is an interesting word. It literally means the steps of your house, but it's used differently to that. It's like a the household, I think it means, rumatanga. So the ibu rumatanga is the woman of the household. And there's a lot of respect given to the ierte. You can even have aerte, assistant rumatanga, which is like a helper. Wow, there's a temple. How cool is that? Under a little cliff ledge. Sometimes there are words that are very similar that you might get confused. For example, there's a word which is tahap, which is stages. Yeah, a project will have many stages, many tahap. So, but it sounds like Tunga a little bit, and it has a similar feeling, but it's not. The other one is tingkat, which is level. So different levels. Yeah. I like to just look around me and look at things that I know the words of, like the word for tree is pohon. The word for a branch is cabang. And the good thing is about that, you can use that word the same way as you might in English as well. Like you can say a cabang bank, which is a bank branch, just like you would in English as well, which is pretty cool. The way that some of these things are used very similarly. But it's not always the case. You've got to be a little bit careful because you might say something that sounds a bit silly. If you want to plant something, it's to tanam, yeah, to plant it. And the plantings are tanaman, yeah. And you can see how that tanam and tanaman works together. A lot of words are actually like that. As much as they are in English, sometimes we can use a verb as a noun sometimes. So I can say to run, but I can say a run. That's a bit weird, isn't it? But in Indonesian, it's similar, yeah? Similar, not exactly the same, but yeah, there's similar sort of structures where you have similarities between words, and you can sort of, once you get a basic knowledge of the language, what you can start doing is learning more on your own without even checking a dictionary, because you know that the word that that person has just said means a certain thing based on the root word and the context. And your learning can really accelerate once you get to that base level of language. I've got to keep going up here. I'm talking about language to try and avoid going up these steps. The wild thing is that there are a lot of tanaman halfway up this cliffside. People have been farming this land for generations. Oh man, this is brutal. Brutal. Istirahat dulu. Not really recommended actually, unless you can get a motorbike down here and back, which seems to be pretty easy to do. Yeah, if you're not confident on a motorbike, so you're gonna have to try and find someone who can take you down in the car and get that gate unlocked back over there. There's this thing in Bali where a lot of people say, Bali's done, Bali's finished. It's overcrowded, full of traffic, full of all the wrong people. It's just the worst place on earth now. Used to be good back in the day. And there's an element of truth to that, but it's not true. And the reason is, you see something like Nyang Nyang down the bottom here, and it's just paradise, a little bit away from where the crowds are. And that's the thing about Bali, if you move just a little bit away from the places that you don't really like, you can often find just absolutely stunning places like this. Even just sitting on the edge of the cliff here and watching this on your own would be a fabulous way to start the morning with a cup of hot coffee and yeah, just taking it all in. The air is crystal clear and beautiful. That haze that you see in the distance, I don't even know if it's a haze. I reckon it could just be a bit of sea spray or what have you. But I'm loving it here. That was about 120 meters up there, and geez, it was hard going. So if you want to do the bottom, it's best to get down there on a motorbike from that driveway that I went down originally. And that's the thing here in Bali as well, is if you're quite mobile, you can get to all the best spots where there are not other people. You've just got to choose your places wisely. And that's what we're doing today, is looking at these places that are in this tourist zone of Uluwatu or the Bukit, but finding a place that's pretty much unspoiled, doesn't have the hordes, no traffic, just beautiful. I must counter some of that complete positivity a little bit, because the world is closing in here, in the Bukit especially. The world is closing in fast. In other parts of Bali, I mean, it's still untouched, more or less. There are just some amazing places that still feel like the old Bali. It's a bit of a cliche, isn't it, the old Bali, but it's there. I think we have a cafe here. I'm going to check it out. Mesa. That means table, doesn't it, in Spanish? Let's have a look what the coffee's like. Not a coffee shop, it's a paddle court. That's pretty cool, eh? Get a coffee here anyway. Okay, got my coffee. It looks like a brilliant one for you. A brilliant one for you. Nice temperature.
Mantap.
That is a very, very good one. Very strong, but smooth. Sometimes you get these strong coffees and they're like as rough as anything. This is brilliant. Mantap. Someone actually said that they don't like the jingle that I put on now. So I don't know. I don't know what to do about the jingle. I thought it was just a bit of a funny thing to do, you know. All right, I needed that, that's for sure. I'm gonna go up here. The lady in the cafe there said there's some paragliding around here somewhere. So I've got to look for the edge of the cliff. I don't know where, down this dirt road somewhere. And then she said there's paragliding. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I don't know if they're going at the moment. I reckon I've been given a bit of a bum steer here. I'm going uphill now, so that's definitely not the way to the cliff. So I'm not sure where that hang gliding or whatever it was, paragliding was. The other thing is I'm noticing so much construction around this particular area that feels like the world is kind of closing in. So my comment that, you know, sometimes Bali is getting a bad rap and that you can still find pockets of absolute paradise is true. But it is also true that the world is closing in on some of these pockets, like in Nyang Nyang. I can't see that this is going to be the rural feeling place that it is now for much longer because there is just so much construction. But then you come from that construction zone into a little alleyway like this with fields on either side, and then it feels like you're in the bush again. I don't know. I'm a bit worried about this whole place, to be honest. I am quite worried about the whole of the Bukit. It is such a spectacular place, and when it has those pockets of ruralness, it is just the most beautiful place on earth, and that Nyang Nyang is just stunning. But it's changing, and it's changing fast. Little row of shops here that are newly built. They're kontrakan, empat ruko. I didn't realise this was called a ruko, this thing, because ruko means rumah toko, and it means it's got a house attached to it. And these don't have houses attached to them, so I didn't think they were called ruko, but that's what they're calling them. I wonder what's correct there. I'll have to ask Susan that one. I'm so thirsty, I've got myself a really big Pocari Sweat. And I will drink most of that before I get home because I've sweated buckets. The other thing is I just asked the lady in the shop, I said to her, you know, ruko, does that have to have a house attached to it? And she had no idea what I was talking about. She understood the words, but she's thinking, what is this guy asking? Is he asking about a drink or something like that? I said, you know a ruko? She said, yeah. I said, is this a ruko? And she said, no. I said, so a ruko must have a house. And she said, yes. And she's looking at me like, why is this guy asking such a weird question? I do ask weird questions. I want to know, is this a ruko? Well, it's not a ruko. So the sign over there is wrong. I might just walk down here a little bit further, see if there's anything else down here, but I don't think there is too much. This whole part of the Bukit seems to be a little more rural, a little less developed than other parts of the Bukit, but it's certainly, as you get closer to that cliffside, there seems to be pockets of intense development like down at Nyang Nyang. That said, I'm going to finish things up here and really love to thank you for coming along for the ride today, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sonora and the rest of Indonesia. I'll catch you next time, and sampai jumpa.
As I hopped on the motorbike and I sped away from that area of the Bukit, I really started reflecting on what I'd just seen as far as that development goes. And you know what? It was absolutely shocking. I was actually shocked when I was seeing it, but I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, how much of that is going on in such a small area. And the more I think about it, the more I think that this place is becoming a disaster zone. I just wanted to add that on at the end of the video here, just to give a little bit more context about what I was seeing down here on the Bukit.